I'll show you now how this ICT Service Exit Strategy document looks like and how to fill it out to be compliant with DORA EU cybersecurity regulation. This document is important because it's mandatory according to DORA Article 28, but also according to CDR 2024-1773 Article 10. Basically, this CDR is a kind of an appendix to DORA which specifies some further requirements for financial organizations. And the whole idea of this document is if you depend heavily on the supplier to enable you to stop working with this very important IT supplier and start working with some other supplier or simply re-insource these activities back into your company. Okay, I'm showing you now this ICT Service Exit Strategy document from Advisera's DORA documentation toolkit. So here on the first page you see some general information like company logo, company name, the code version, date of version, author approval, confidentiality level. When we move on to the next page, change history, so you basically note down here the changes that you've done throughout the document versions, and then we see here the table of contents, and then on the third page you actually start with the main part of the document. Now I'll come back to this main part in a minute. Let me first explain you how the document is structured. Section 1, purpose, scope and users. Here you define what is the main idea of this document, to which parts of your company does it apply to, and who needs to read it. Reference documents, this is where you refer to DORA, relevant CDR, but also to ISO 27001, ISO 22301 and similar standards. And then section 3 about inputs. So basically this is risk assessment and treatment. So where the risks actually were identified, through which means that are relevant for this exit strategy. What are the other relevant facts for exit strategy? So basically which kind of inputs would you take into account to see if this strategy needs to be triggered? So how do you actually follow up on the performance of a particular supplier? And then you move on to this main part, which is about exit strategy. So what are the exit objectives? So what is it in general that you want to achieve with this kind of an exit? And then the exit strategy itself. So basically what are the options to, let's say, disengage from the existing critical supplier and start doing this activity in some other way or with some other supplier? And also what is the management team? So basically who needs to participate in this process of moving on from one supplier to some other arrangement? And then exit plan. So basically here you define what are the elements of this particular exit plan that needs to be made for each critical supplier. Exit plan principles. So what are the main, I would say, ideas of what this plan should cover? What is the content? So what kind of sections you need to have, and what are the main elements of implementation schedule? And then testing and reviewing of exit strategy and exit plan. So how often this needs to be reviewed, by whom, and so on. And finally validity and document management. So this particular document, how often it needs to be reviewed and who needs to do it, who is the owner of the document. Now let's move on to the main part of the document. So purpose, scope and users. As you can see, the document is mainly pre-filled, so you have to adapt it for your specific circumstances in your company. So here where you see these square brackets, this is basically where you have to insert something that is specific for your company. So in this case, company name, let's say this is, I don't know, Test Incorporated. You can move on. Here in section 2 you see these references, so DORA Article 28.8, and here in the comment you also see the link towards this particular article. So if you click this link you will see the full text of this article. Then this CDR 2024-1773, also the link to this CDR which is specific about exit strategy, and then references to ISO 27001 and some other documents. And then what are the inputs for the strategy? And basically this is taken from DORA, so you can leave it as it is here. Risk assessment, risk treatment report describes the assessment of risks that could cause failure, deterioration, and so on. And then you have to list what are your highest risks. And let's say that one of these highest risks is that you actually have a software developer that can go bankrupt. So the software developer bankruptcy. Okay. And of course you have to list other highest risks related to your suppliers. And then you move on with the other relevant facts for exit strategy. And basically these items here are taken from DORA, so you can leave them as they are. And then exit strategy, exit objectives, exit strategy. Now here basically is the core of your strategy. So you have to list all of your ICT service providers and their exit strategy. And here you actually have the comments again, which suggest which these might be. So here you have a list of all critical and or important ICT third-party suppliers, for example, cloud hosting providers, internet service providers, and so on. And then for this strategy, you also have suggestions of what kind of options you could use. So going back to this software developer, and here as an exit strategy, let's say that you would take this return of activities back into the company. So a return of activities back to the company, right? And this is in general how you have to define the strategy for each and every of your critical suppliers. And further on, as you go through this document, you will also have to define these exit plans where you write in more detail how you want to achieve this strategy. And basically, this is how you fill out this document. You simply go and adapt the document for your specific circumstances. Now, the most important decisions that you will have to make as part of this document is to define the exit strategy for each and every key supplier. And this is usually decided in the way that the person who is in charge of writing this document, and this could be, let's say, a purchasing manager, or in some cases the chief information security officer, so that this person discusses the various options with all the contract owners, so basically the people within the company who are in charge of handling those suppliers, and then propose these solutions, those exit strategies towards the senior management or to senior executive who is actually in charge of decreasing the third-party risk. And of course, the biggest challenge here is first of all to find out what potential exit strategies are feasible, and also to align all the stakeholders within the company to agree on all of these solutions. And for that purpose, you will certainly have to invest lots of time into negotiating and actually presenting potential options. You'll have to spend a lot of time thinking through what are the potential options, and then finding enough time and energy to negotiate all of these options together with your colleagues in the company. And to help you speed up the writing of this document, I'll show you now how to use Document Wizard from DORA Documentation Toolkit. This is how this DORA Documentation Toolkit application looks like once you log in. And when you scroll down to this folder 10, Managing Third-Party Risks, when you click on it, you will actually see the documents here in this folder. So we want to click this ICT Service Exit Strategy. And what will open is this wizard, which actually helps you fill out this document in a quicker way, and of course adapt it for your company. Here we have these questions and basically answers. So what is the name of the person to approve this document? John Smith. What is the confidentiality level of this document? Confidential. Let's say I want to change this into internal use. Okay, and basically these entries here came as suggested entries because I already used this application for filling out some other documents, and then the wizard remembered these answers, and then this is why it suggests these items here. So this is how it helps actually fill out every next document in a much quicker way. So let's click next step. Who is the job title of the person who is in charge of procurement? And here you have some suggested things that you might use. So for example, let's say this is a procurement manager. Okay, and then we move on next. Who is in charge of deciding if additional risk assessment is needed? Okay, let's say CISO, fine. And who is the job title of the person to approve this document? This is CISO. And then you simply click download, and in a couple of seconds I'll be able to open this document. Okay, so here actually you see basically the same document, but which is already pre-filled through the wizard. So you see here that the logo is automatically inserted because I uploaded the logo also for some other documents that I filled out previously. The company name is here, and here you will also see that the approver is here. So John Smith, confidentiality level, internal use, because this is what I entered in through the wizard. You see the company name, the confidentiality level here in the header. And as we move on here, again, you will see the company name, and let's see what else did this wizard pre-fill. So as we scroll down, for example, here, procurement manager. So this is basically what came directly through the wizard. So the point being here is that this kind of a wizard can significantly increase the speed of writing of this kind of documents. Hope this was helpful, and to see this ICT Service Exit Strategy for yourself, sign up for a free trial of DORA Documentation Toolkit. Click the link in the description below, and you'll be able to see a free demo of this document, but also of other documents from this toolkit, and you'll also be able to try how this document wizard works. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel not to miss any of my new videos, and I publish videos every week. Thanks for watching.